Samson's downfall begins in Gaza, where he visited a prostitute. The Philistines tried to trap him, but he escaped by ripping out the city gates and carrying them away, Judges 16:3. Later, he fell in love with Delilah, a woman from the valley of Sorek. The Philistine rulers offered her silver if she could find out the secret to his strength. 3 times, she asked, and 3 times Samson lied. But she kept pressing him. With such nagging she prodded him day after day until he was sick to death of it. Judges 16:16. Eventually, he told her the truth. No razor has ever been used on my head. If my head were shaved, my strength would leave me. Judges 16:17. While he slept, she had his hair cut. The Lord's presence left him, and he was captured, blinded, and imprisoned by the Philistines. But his story wasn't over. Later, during a great festival to the Philistine god Dagon, they brought Samson out to entertain them. His hair had begun to grow back. Samson prayed, "Sovereign Lord, remember me. Please, God, strengthen me just once more." Judges 16:28. With one final act of strength, he pushed down the pillars of the temple, killing himself and thousands of Philistines. Samson's greatest victory came after his failure. He lost everything, but when he humbled himself and called on God, the Lord used him one last time. Even in failure, God can redeem your story if you return to him. In this chapter, we meet a man named Micah from the hill country of Ephraim. He stole silver from his mother, then returned it. She used part of it to make a carved idol. Micah built a shrine, made his own ephod and household gods, and even hired a Levite to be his personal priest. He proudly declared, "Now I know that the Lord will be good to me, since this Levite has become my priest." Judges 17:13. Micah thought he was doing the right thing, but he was creating a false religion, one that suited his preferences, not God's commands. Micah's story shows what happens when people make faith about convenience, not truth. Real worship must follow God's word, not what feels good. Be careful not to mix your own ideas with God's truth. The tribe of Dan had not yet received land, so they sent spies to look for a new place. They found a peaceful city called Laish and decided to take it. On their way, they passed Micah's house. The spies remembered the Levite and asked him for advice. Later, when 600 armed men returned, they stole Micah's idols and priest. Micah protested, but they said, "Don't argue with us, or some hot-tempered men will attack you." Judges 18:25. Dan conquered Laish, renamed it Dan, and set up Micah's idol in the city, establishing false worship with a stolen priest and stolen gods. This chapter shows a society drifting far from God. The people of Israel had no king and no spiritual guidance. Instead of seeking God's will, they did whatever seemed right to them. These chapters show how far God's people had fallen, from a leader with supernatural strength who was brought down by his own weakness, to entire tribes worshipping false gods made of silver. In those days Israel had no king, everyone did as they saw fit. Judges 17:6. But even in chaos, God was still working. Samson's prayer, Micah's conscience, and the Levite's presence all remind us that God never leaves his people without warning or opportunity.